And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday afternoon tips, trips, webinar, call, whatever you want to call it. It's all of the above. It's Wednesday, April 10th, and we have a lot of things that's been going on this month. And it's just a real learning experience for sure. It's never a dull moment. And today we're going to learn uh, extra information pertaining to WhatsApp from Ray. His subject is ideas after you download the WhatsApp on your computer. So without further ado, let's bring on Ray. Welcome, Ray.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Tom, and welcome everybody. Back in March, the middle of March, I made this presentation, which I kind of did some history on because we were having problems with our computers freezing up and things. So this is a repeat. I'm going to play the video for you. So please sit back, grab some popcorn, but do pay attention because this can be of help.
Awesome. You're able to share your screen?
You should be able. You should be able to now. I made it available for you. There you
go.
And do you remember to do sound as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I forget that a lot. Put the sound on. I have to start all over again.
Get rid of this.
Share with sound.
All right. As Lori mentioned several weeks ago, we downloaded WhatsApp. Didn't take too long after that where we started seeing computers slowing down, being sluggish. When we got into some of our applications that we were doing, especially Trello, we would have the screens freeze. And of course, we had to, shut down, reboot, things like that to get it going. So what I wanted to do was understand exactly if there's anything that we could do as far as settings to help us alleviate that type of problem. So first thing we want to do is look at computer capabilities. And by this, we're really talking computer components, but there's really one or two components that you could buy, and they all have different capabilities. So that's what we wanted to explore. So we want to be simple and specific here. Of course, we're all not, we know how to turn the computer on, and that's all we want to do. But we don't want to be too specific and make this cumbersome. So we need to find out what they are, what those components are. We want to know the information about them, and so we need to know where to go and get that information. And then again, we need to see, is there any type of settings other than a default that we can change and have it work for us? All right, capabilities, components that we need to be concerned about. There's probably the top 4 or 5 components of a computer. Of course, motherboard being the main one. We have what we call CPU. We have what we call RAM, not can be confused with DTCA. And we have computer graphics, and we have our hard drive. All right, they're mainly the main ones that we would be concerned about with a typical laptop. So let's go over to CPU, Central Processing Unit. Basically, the brains of the computer. executes instructions, and performs calculations. Needless to say, the faster the CPU, the more tasks it can handle simultaneously. All right, and we look at that as clock speed. It's measured in gigahertz, and that determines how fast we execute instructions per second. So gigahertz, you're looking at 1 billion instructions per second. All right, that's quite fast. All right, in conjunction with that, we are looking at random access memory. All right, this here is short-term memory of a computer where data and instructions are temporarily stored so you can have quick access by the CPU. All right, the more RAM, of course, allows the computer to handle larger amounts of data and run more programs without slowing down. The faster RAM speeds and large capabilities improve the performance, especially when we are multitasking, which most of us are when we are working on this. All right, the one thing with this RAM is it's temporary. And not only that, it is the primary, excuse me, it's the primary drive of our system. All right. And as a matter of fact, if you don't have RAM, you couldn't be running your computer. So we looked at two components. They're the two I think we would be more concerned with, which really operate our system. And now what we want to look at is where are we going to get the information to find out what we actually have. All right, so to understand where to go, you want to locate your Windows Start button. Generally in the left bottom right-hand corner, that's what it looks like right here. And of course, you want to continue with that and look at the settings buttons. And of course, this is typical. All right, it's a cog wheel. All right, and it's any settings looks like this. All right, and most of this is going to pop up in the left-hand corner. All right, once we hit in the settings, we're going to have probably a dozen places where we can explore. All right, the ones we're concerned with is the system. You got a display, sounds, and notification. All right, so once you get there, you want to look for the information. All right, we're going to find this. And of course, it's not easy to find, but once again, it's on the left-hand side. And it's probably, you need to scroll down and see the last setting that you could hit. And it's called About. So we're going to get about what information we're looking for. And so it's going to tell us the specifications of the processor and in the installed RAM that we have. And of course, the one thing to realize when we go shopping for a computer, of course, generally our wallet does the talking. It doesn't matter what the RAM is or what the speed does of the chips. All right. So unfortunately, when you do that, you don't know what is going to happen when you start loading programs, especially for a business like we have. All right, but the processor, once again, is a clock speed measured in gigahertz, and it executes the instructions per second. An example is 3 gigahertz. All right, so basically that's what the computer I'm on has, and it is 3 billion instructions per second. All right. And today they might go up to maybe 3.8 or so. Of course, the bigger computers and maybe even some of the gaming computers might be a little bit more. All right. The next thing we talked about was this RAM, short-term memory. All right. Once again, this is the primary drive of the computer. It's not the hard drive. All right. Hard drive is mechanical. It spins, a magnetic spin disk, all right, and that stores data too. but that is not the primary. It is the secondary. All right. An example here is this computer I'm on is 8 gigabyte. And with 8 gigabyte is, fairly decent. But even with that, working the SD boards, my screen would freeze up to the point where you just had to shut it down and start over again. All right, so now this here is just a little bit of knowledge. We're talking about 8 gigabyte. So when you look at that and that storage, you're looking at basically the metric system, kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, and tetrabyte. All right. And so when you look at that, you'd say, okay, well, a kilobyte should, oops, how am I going to get back here? There we go. A kilobyte should be 1,000. But actually, we see that we have a kilobyte for a computer is 1,024 bytes. All right. So to give you a little idea, what this means is, of course, metric is power of 10. So you got 1, 10, 100, 1,000. But when you're looking at a computer, if you remember back in the day when you went to school, computers were binary. Binary meaning 2. They have 2 numbers, the 0 and a 1. All right. Everything you see on a screen is zeros and ones. All right. So when you look at the power of 2, you got 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, and of course, 1024. So that 1024 bytes was close to 1,000. So that's where they use the term kilobytes. This is going to be an important doing the calculations. All right, to give you an idea, of course, here's letters. You type, these are capitals, you type the letters A, B, and C. You get this binary code. So it's a 1 bit, and in one byte is equal to 8 bits. All right. And if you count them, that's 8 here. So when you type in A, this is the sequence. Oh, I keep doing that. This is the sequence that the computer sees, nothing but zeros and ones. And you can see the difference. You go to B, you're all talking 100, but the end numbers change. You got 10, you go to 11, you go to 100. So to give you an idea, that's all this computer does is zeros and ones. All right, so we talked about storage. This storage here that we're going to look at is our hard drive. All right, that's the secondary storage. And what we want to do is, even before you start, you want to make sure you got enough hard drive so you can actually allocate some of this for the RAM. All right, so what you're going to do is the RAM is going to be your primary, and it's going to be using some of these drives for the RAM itself. So you're taking some of the secondary to help out the primary. All right, so as you can see, I got very little use and I got quite a bit. So, of course, that's how I'm showing this, because that's one of the things you want to check out, your computer. All right, and like I say, when we got there, you get to this point as, your start, and then you hit your settings, and then you go to about, and that's where we are at this system.
You might think that this is complicated. He was just explaining so that you guys knew what the terms were. But now the calculations to fix the settings that he's about to go over with you are not complicated, I promise. So just hang in there.
Yeah, and as soon as I close this program down, because I'm not sure I'm going to have enough memory to be doing what I want, I'll show you how fast you can get to where you want to be. All right, so it's CPU. Sure, they have settings. They're default. And They can be changed, all right? But these are settings you never want to play with, all right? So what are these settings? One is called overclocking. Overclocking increases the speed of your CPU beyond its default settings. All right, it's going to do that by these updates. It's called BIOS, of course, and UIFs. All right, if anybody remembers, this is basic in-out system. So what you put in is what you get out. This one here gets a little bit into the motherboards, and it's called Unified Extensible Firmware Integration. All right. And sometimes this can help with an improved CPU capability and stability, but it's only when updates are released by the manufacturers. And so I basically don't ever see this at all. All right, so now the reason, okay, of course you have your power settings. In order to do this and make these settings, you got software utilities that you can use. These are third party. And of course you can use the operating system's power management. I'm not even going to tell you how to get in here, just so you won't get yourself in trouble. But you do not make changes on these settings because you got one important thing, and that is thermal management. All right, that CPU has to be running at a certain temperature. All right, like anything else, you increase its speed, it's going to increase the heat output. All right, and if you don't have the proper cooling and the proper input going in, all right, it's going to overheat. And of course, when it overheats, it throttles back its performance. All right, so once again, CPU settings are out. We don't want to look at that. So that leaves one other setting, and it's called the RAM settings. All right, this is something you can play with, and I'm going to demonstrate right here what you're going to do. So now you need to go back and look at the location of the CPU and RAM. And when you look over that page, you're going to find out the sweet spot where you can allocate part of the hard drive, secondary drive, to allow a term called paging. So what you're doing is you're going to take part of that hard drive and you're going to allow the RAM, the primary drive, to be calling on this when needed. So the paging is a function of the memory management. That's where we're going to retrieve data from devices' secondary storage to the primary. Just keep in mind, the secondary storage is a magnetic disk spinning around. All right, it's not as fast as the primary storage. That's why you have RAM in your computer, because it needs to be faster than your secondary storage. All right, so we already went through this, but you select Windows button, you select your settings button, you select your systems feature. All right, and then we go back to the bottom and we look at the about feature. All right, so the next thing we want to look for in that page is the advanced system setting. All right, and so we're either going to look to the right or we could look at the bottom. Sometimes you might have to scroll down to see the bottom. All right, so here, I mean, of course, this is truncated, but you can see you're going to be looking for an about. This is going to give you your information. And this one here is going to be the advanced system settings. All right, as you can see, when you see this on the very bottom, it's not something they even want you to play with. It's hidden. All right, you scroll down to see these. And then again, nothing sticks out over here. You got a bunch of related settings, but you certainly would have to know that you want to be looking at advanced settings. All right, so this is the calculating for your custom RAM. All right, it's initial size and there's a maximum size. All right, so the formula that we're going to be using to select the correct page filing is the initial size is 1.5 times the amount of total system memory. All right, so that's why I showed you where you want to find this information. So you need to know what your, excuse me, you need to know what your system is. So I'm just going to demonstrate 4 gigabyte, even though I had 8, but 1 gigabyte has to be converted into megabyte. So it's 1024 times 4 gigabyte equals 4096. And you want to be 1.5 times for the initial size, which equals 6144. In an 8-byte system, I would have this to 12,288. All right, the maximum size is 3 times the initial size. So it's this right here. So it's 6144 times 3 is 18,432. And if you have an 8 gigabyte system, that brings us to 36,864. All right, so now we need to go to the screens where we can actually place these settings in. So once again, when you go and you hit that advanced settings, it's going to bring you to this window and you want to select advanced. All right, and you're going to have performance, which is virtual memory, memory usage, and the skip process scheduling. And you say, I want the settings. All right. Once you take the settings, it brings you to your performance options. Once again, we're going to go to advanced. All right. We don't do nothing with this. It could be either programs or background services, whichever you choose. I'm not even sure what default this is. Might be background. All right. But what we're concerned with is this virtual memory. This is what they call the paging once again. And it's a hard disk that the Windows uses as if it was RAM. All right. So the paging file size for the drives is, when I was doing this, it was 1198. So you say you want to change this. All right. When you change it, it comes to your virtual memory. Now, if you've never done this before, all right, chances are it's going to be automatic, all right, for a page filing. All right. So what you want to do is come back here where I have it circled in red. It's going to be a custom size. And it says your initial size, which is going to be 11.9. Well, actually, I think I set this in the beginning to be for 8 bytes, 8 gigabytes. But so we put the initial size and then we did the maximum size, which is 3 times. Now, you notice in the beginning, Lori was talking about we tweaked them. And actually what this turns out are, because Lori also has 8 gigabyte along same as I did. And this is basically only 2 times that. So this can be increased. All right. So basically it's going to be increased, almost 10,000 to allocate more of the hard drive that we can allocate for. All right. Once you get the systems down, you got to hit set. All right. Once you set it, you say okay. That brings you back to this this screen, which you say okay to get out of that. And then you say okay here. Once you get that, it's going to tell you in order to allocate those settings, you're going to have to reset your computer. All right. And that's it. Very simple.
Yeah,
All
it's
right.
really Guys, literally, when he walked me through it, it took me it was less than 10 minutes from the time that he walked me through it. I changed the settings and then I restarted my computer and it was less than 10 minutes. He was just explaining to you all the different terms and the calculations so that you actually understood what it is that you're going to do, right? The actual setting part of it is just a matter of clicks.
Right. And we'll go through this after I shut this
Yep.
program done. So that one there, we increased the RAM, all right, using our hard drive. This one here is we're trying to recover some of the RAM. All right. So when you keep loading programs in, and and that could be several tabs of Chrome, all right. Every time you do that, the RAM is always going to specify a piece of its memory so that program could be running. All right. And as you keep loading it, and you see a lot of people have how many tabs open. All right. Well, I guarantee they have a lot of RAM. All right. I don't. I only have 8 gigabyte. All right. Your next point is probably 16 gigabyte and 32. And geez, I could imagine what Rory has. All right. But as you close programs down, you can recover some of that memory back. So 2 things you do, you close the windows. All right. And basically what you're doing is if you close a Google tab down, of course, that takes it away from the screen. But when you're talking about these apps, especially when they're tabbed into the in your taskbar, all right, the app itself is still running, all right, and it's running in the background, all right. But to do that, you're going to select the app, right-click, and it's select close window, all right. The end task, all right, especially on Windows 10, all right, maybe on earlier Windows, they might call this sleeping, all right, but you're ending the task and you're forcefully terminating the application, including background tasks and processes associated with it. All right. And to do that, of course, you're going to bring up your task manager, whether you go to the taskbar and do a right click and bring it up, or you do Control Alt or Delete. No matter how you get there, that's how you're going to take care of this process or the app that you want to do. Now, I recommend the Antask, and I'm going to show you why. All right, so that covers, and just let me go through these couple things and I'll show you, but that covers this things here. So we're talking about the setting button right here. Go to the settings, there's the cogwheel. All right, as you say, I said there were about a dozen places where you can go. We're looking for the system. All right, you're looking at your storage. This is the second storage that we're talking about. It's your hard drive. All right, and as I've shown you, I have plenty of room. If you're hovering up around this area around here, you might not have enough room. You would probably have to take do a USB and, delete some of these files or move them over to, a temporary storage to free some space if you have problems with your computer. All right. Once again, you got to scroll down to see this about. All right. So you do about. Here's your information. Device name, processor. I got a 3 gigahertz. All right. This here is an i3 core. All right. When I spoke of components and the capabilities, you could have a single core, a dual core, quad core, 6, 10 of these cores all layered together. The core itself could be threaded, meaning it's going to put out simultaneously instructions. All right. So that makes it double. So a single becomes 2. It goes on and on, has a lot of capabilities in here. And once again, some people look and they know what they want. Most people are going to buy what their wallet is telling them what to buy. All right. And I'm sure when you pull the wallet out and you walk it down the aisle, it's going to choke up when you get too close to the $2,000 computers. All right. Here's my installed RAM. It's 8 gigabyte. All right. They probably have them at 2 gigabyte, 4 gigabyte. I think the next one would be 16 gigabyte. Now, both of these, if you take your computer apart, you can probably get upgrades to this. All right. I was looking at my laptop today. I'm not even sure I see a screw on there. So I'm pretty sure it's got to be forced apart. So it's something that I wouldn't be doing. All right. And I got a 16-bit operating system. Remember I told you a byte is 8 bits. Well, this one here puts out 8 bytes at a time. So that's why they call it a 64-bit. All right, that makes it very fast. All right, so you're either going to scroll down to the bottom. You don't see nothing. As I said, mine here is right on the side. So you go to Advanced Systems, brings up the window, go to Advanced, go to Settings. Performance options is Advanced. Once again, you're going to look at virtual memory and you're going to change. And this here, generally this would be up here. You're going to hit this dot and you're going to make those settings that you just calculated and you put them in here, the initial size and the maximum size. And then you're going to hit set. Once you hit set, you back out. You say, okay, closes these windows. Then you're going to get a notice that in order for those settings to take place, it's going to be not until you restart the computer. All right, so now let's talk about the other thing. That is increasing your RAM. And now we want to look at what can we do to actually maybe remove some memory from there. So the first thing I want to show you is if you want to see how sick your computer is, this is what you want to do. You go to Processes, and basically I would say you hover yourself around 1%. These are all the big memory suckers right here. You see WhatsApp, it's not even too bad, it's 4%. All right, but look at all these. All right, so what I want to show you here is, I mean, I don't even use my Dropbox, and you know, it's not even on my input screen. All right, and I don't close it, but it's taking a lot of memory. But what I want to show you is the difference between closing and ending. All right, so here's our Skype. Here's it down here. We're going to right click. It's going to say close the window. Now, my Skype is 69% memory. I hit the close. Immediately, look how much it's jumping up. I mean, my intent was to close it and be lower. But when we do this, we got other programs that are probably somewhere down here. I mean, these are all the things associated with it, and you're going to see some of these are still Skype, and these are all things that are running, taking up memory. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show you is we're going to highlight that. If you do a right click, there's the end task, but what I want to show you, so I could be out of the way, is watch this when I say end task. You might be able to see a drop, or it might drop out too fast. All right, it actually came off the screen. All right, so there, you see how much memory dropped out? I was in the 60s, and now it's down in the 50s. All right, so it took, you know, it left me some more RAM for other programs. All right, now, It doesn't go away. All you got to do is hit it and watch it come back up. Skype, Skype, Skype goes right back up. All right. And as you can see, the memory goes up. When you're not running anything and you open this, you should be around 50% memory. All right. If you're running programs and stuff, this can probably go up to 70%. All right. I looked at this morning when I was doing some SD cards, and I was hovering around 90%. All right. That was way, way too much. All right. There's not enough memory in this computer to be having all these files open that I had. And I had my tasks, I had that shut down. So that's how you look at, if you say, oh, gee, my computer's slow. Well, just check the task manager, look at the processes, see what's happening here. All right. Not only that, if you have something here that you don't recognize, all right, then you probably picked up something as malware. All right. And it's stealing your memory. All right. And that's what's slowing things down. So if you see something that you don't know here, and then you just go right into your service and you delete that app, especially if you or yourself then put it down. All right. Now, for instance, when we start opening up all these Chrome windows, this will also tell you if I had a lot open. I only have the one open now. All right. But if you have 8, 9 tabs open, you're going to see that it's going to end up being, 12 Chrome, and you're going to have 12 pieces of Chrome up here as the first ones. All right. All taking up memory. So that's something to look at when your computer's feeling a little ill.
That is so great, Ray. Thank you so much. I can't
Awesome.
go back and and tweak mine a little bit more yet too. So because it really did help.
Nope, I gotta
So
shut that
I
down.
mean, and those are things that I wouldn't have known if Ray wouldn't have told me. Like if he wouldn't have walked me through it, guys. I've been doing this work for 5 years, and I didn't know how to fix that. So thank you very much, Ray. Donna.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And Ray fixed mine too, and it helped a lot. So anybody have any questions on that?
I do.
Who's that? I
Wendy.
can't find you. It sounded like Regina, but I don't know who it was.
It's Wendy Johnston.
Wendy. Okay,
Yeah.
go for it.
Can you go back or tell me again what the where was it? Where did I lose you at? The formula. What is that? I didn't get all the formula to convert the kilobytes into 3 times.
All right, if I could show you now, but if you would like, I will give Tom those slides so he
Okay.
could have it for future reference too.
Yeah, I didn't get all that formula. I missed like the last one of it. So okay, thank you.
I thought we were still looking at your recording. I didn't realize you'd finished it. Yeah, you should do exercise right now if you're able to on your computer. Do the processing unit. Just everybody can do it on their own computer. How to see the task bar. The control alternate delete.
Yeah, that way we've got everybody here together, and Ray can help you out instead of making 30 different.
Right. Are you able to do that for us? I don't know if we can do it while we're still on Zoom, though. actually.
Well, they would have to share their screen,
Yeah.
then we can come out that way.
Well, other than me, everybody should be, if you did it by showing us yours, how you did yours or do yours to get more speed, then everybody except me, because I'm recording, should be able to do their own.
All right, let me go back and get that the slides. And we'll show you that one because I demonstrated 4. I think if anything less than that, I'm not even sure you could be running your business with something lower than that. But so it's 4. If you have 8, you could double the settings. And of course, if you have 16, there's no reason to be playing with RAM because you should have plenty for what we do here. So let me share the screen again.
And one thing folks want to know is, as far as taking up memory, that the worst source of memory, sucking up memory, are videos. So the more videos you have on your computer, the more memory is taken up. Then the lesser one are photos. The more photos you have, the more memory is taken up, and the least amount of memory are the text. So if you want to free up memory on your computer, delete some of your videos and then some of your photos. But we have photos because we use them in our pages. So I guess the videos would be the main source of taking up your RAM memory.
All right, let me see if I pull up the slides.
So do you think this would be advantageous for everybody?
Well, if they're having problems, it doesn't hurt. Even if, they seem not to have a problem, because they don't have a lot of things open. But, you start having students and you start training them, you're going to have more windows opening to show them things. And that's, so it might not be in the beginning, but it might be when you're starting to, instruct some of your students.
Oh, yeah. Like me.
Yeah. So here's a slide. This is the calculation. All right. Like we say, you got gigabytes got to be changed to megabytes. So you do that by what you have in your system. So it's 4 times 1024. That's why I showed you, this information. All right. And it's for the initial size, it's 1.5. So if you had 8, then this become 12,288. All right. Your maximum size is, of course, 3 times the new initial size, not the old one, the new one. So it's 3 times 6, 144 gives you actually, excuse me, gives you 18,432. If you have 8 gigabyte, this becomes 36,864.
So of course, the
course,
more RAMs you have, the more memory, you can record, and the faster it'll go.
yeah, it's, because every time you open up a tab, especially if you're in Google, it's got to allocate memory so it could try to be running even in the background. All right. So,
Especially if you
know,
have your cookies on.
yeah, and then you're, it's just, taking up more memory than everything else is basically slowing down. All right, but you could find that in, I'll get this to Tom and, you could have a good understanding of where the rest of it's going to be because these slides will take you through each one on where to change it right here.
You can put that link in the chat. Are you able to? Do you have it so you can have the link?
That I would have to go get the slides and get it, share it in here. And I generally don't do that. I will make I set mine up so you can get a copy of it as soon as you hit the link. All right, but I will get that to you. I will get the copy to you. And of course, the video is already out on the WhatsApp, but we could put it out again if you would like, or I could give it to you. You could put it in your.
Well, this is being recorded.
I
Yeah.
can go to WhatsApp and get it, find it on WhatsApp. You don't have to reshare it. I got the formula anyway, so. But yeah, if it's
Okay.
on WhatsApp, I'll just download it from there. If it makes everything.
Yeah, it's that was done probably around March
Okay.
22nd, maybe somewhere around there. So
Okay. I'll look for it. Thank you. And I just went into my task manager. My computer, my laptop's running 84%.
well, yeah, it's high.
I have Windows 11. So I don't know if that means it runs, I don't know. But some of the stuff in there all looks like it's programmable stuff that's supposed to be in there. I hate to mess with any of that.
A lot of times when we get new computers and Windows and whatever, it comes already preloaded with memory hoggers that we don't even need.
Yeah. Well, I'm afraid to delete anything because I did that one time and I completely screwed up my computer.
Yeah, you can go to your stop menu and see some of the things that are in there. They put in like games and this and that, and you can uninstall them if you don't want them, and that'll free up some space.
But thank you. That was really good. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I was just thinking if we were able to do that during our lab, but I don't know. I was just thinking of, my computer to see, because I have an average of like 50 tabs open all the time, but I condensed them into folder tabs. The new Google has that option. So it helps me keep them up there, but not spread out across the top.
Mhm.
Do those stay there when you close your web page down and you have to reload them up?
No.
There's no, well, no, well,
When-
there is now an option, a new option in Chrome to save them.
Yeah, I've done that, but every time I gone back into Chrome, they're gone and I have to redo it again.
You pin them
So,
to the top.
There,
Yes.
They should be there then when you
They're
bring
color
it back up.
coded and everything.
yeah. So what Chrome does is you can right click on the group and choose Save Group, and it should add that to your bookmarks bar.
Yeah,
group.
but it's always gone when I come back. So I don't know if I'm doing
Yeah.
something, not saving it. I don't know, but I've been working with it to see if I can get it to work. I like it though. I like it a lot because then I can just click on that
Yeah.
one tab and there's all the things that I need.
Mhm.
Yep, it's very handy.
Yeah, but it doesn't stay up there.
Mm.
Something I'm probably doing. So I just keep messing with it to maybe I'll get it right.
But you're using Google
Mhm.
Chrome, right? I imagine.
Yes.
Well, either
Well,
if it's pinned up or added to the group, they should still be there when
That's right.
after you've logged out and come back in.
That's what I thought, but I keep messing with it. Hopefully I like it a lot. So hopefully it'll work for me. Makes it so much easier.
Or maybe we can do it in the study hall, you can share your screen and show us.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, Debbie Payne.
Yes, hello. I've got a question about the usage in the oh, what is that called? When you do your setting or your Control Alt Delete one.
Mhm.
Okay. When I do that, I go into the process is right. Let me do that again so that I can pull it up. Okay, Task Manager. And then I'm looking under the performance, and I've got like 6 apps open that are doing memory. And then it goes down to background processes. Should we mess with any of those, or is it just
No,
the apps that
I
we're
wouldn't mess with those.
concerned with?
And
Okay.
if I was you, I would close down the program of the apps by using the close or exit button and not through Task Manager.
Oh, okay. 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 So as long as I'm at like 61% memory, and it's like Google Chrome and settings and Task Manager and WhatsApp and the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, they take
Mhm.
up the most memory.
Yeah. So when I want to speed up, I just go into that part with the apps and do away with or close those out.
Yeah, I
Is that
would
what we're saying?
I would more recommend go into the actual app itself and exit
Uh-huh.
that way, as opposed to doing it through Task Manager. When you do it through Task Manager, I mean, it's pretty safe, but it is possible that you may close the wrong program and then you have to reboot your computer. So I would much rather
Ah.
see you do it through the program itself, through the
Mhm.
exit or the close. And so it'll either be along the bottom of taskbar or on
Right.
the far right of the taskbar. There's that little arrow pointing up that says show hidden icons.
Mhm.
That's where a lot of your background programs are going to be as well.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure.
Very enlightening, Ray. Excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess. Got it. Any other questions for Ray or pertaining to today's call?
Hey, Tom.
Well, yes, sir.
Hey, this is Len. Hey, good training today. But I just think you guys should emphasize the fact that, when folks go to their task manager, to make sure they don't go shut down any system processes.
That's exactly what I just said. Yeah, exactly what I
Oh,
was. Yeah, that's what I'm
okay.
telling her.
Okay, I
mean,
missed it.
I wouldn't even go into Task Manager.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
Yeah.
you have reason to, I wouldn't go in there.
Yep. Okay, thanks. I missed it. Sorry.
Yep, no worries.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to see how much the apps are using up,
True.
in the task manager, because you have like 4 different areas that you can check them out, the
Mhm.
progress, progression and stuff of the different programs and apps that
Sure.
are there. If you're
Yeah.
having some, that's more for diagnosis use.
That's right.
Mhm. Yeah, I
What
was
am I
just saying
re-
that because I know I have a couple of students that are really, really mouse happy. So they click a lot.
What I
Mm.
might recommend is if you want to use Task Manager, that's fine. Go in there, and then when you see what programs are using up more process, then go to the program itself and close it down that way, as opposed to doing it through Task Manager. But I mean, yes, I definitely agree that having Task Manager open is nice to see how much of your process is being used with that little meter. That's very handy, for sure.
Yeah, and if your computer freezes up and you're trying to close it out or reboot it or something, then you can also go to the task, control alternate delete, bring up the task management, and then uninstall it or close it from there.
Close it, yeah.
particular program, let's say Google Chrome got frozen and you can't do anything, that's when you can do that, use that management, task management.
Right, and then in Task Manager, it allows you to say not responding.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, this is more technical than our normal Wednesday afternoon, but it is definitely different and enlightening. Should have perked up everybody saying, whoa, what's going on here? I gotta, write this down or something, Yeah, so if there's a way for us to increase our speed of the computer and the memory, that's great. Because again, with mine, maybe you gotta help me, Ray, with mine, so you can see everything that I have. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
Maybe
that'd
we
be
can
no
get
problem.
together
My pleasure.
sometime when I'm not recording,
Do
even in the study hall, if you're available.
you want to record this part still? Or you want to stop the recording?
Well, if there's no more questions, we can stop recording. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right, folks. Thank you for coming today, and we'll see you next Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll continue getting people that want to volunteer like Ray did today. And again, we want to thank you, Ray, very much. It was very enlightening. And we'll be looking for other people, up and comers, that want to break away from their shyness and be able to talk to everybody. But this isn't your safe zone, so you don't have to worry about, your presentation. Just be yourself. And thank you. I'm going to end the recording now.